What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about each of the brand new characters that have arrived with the brand new treasure map that's going to be arriving on JP. So 3 new treasure map rare recruit characters, and also the new treasure map character himself in X Drake, which is actually a pretty interesting unit, and I think it's definitely going to be one that you guys should probably like max out. Like, he's probably a high priority target just because his special ability is very unique and not too many characters in the game can really do what he does. So it's definitely a unit that you want to max out, like in the similar vein of like treasure map Jack, where there aren't too many characters that can do what he does with his damage that goes through barriers as well as removing some defensive effects. Like, treasure map Jack is just a really useful unit to have, and I feel like Drake, I feel like he's not as good as Jack. I feel like Jack still probably beats him out in terms of his overall usability, but there will be some niche circumstances where treasure map Drake is going to be pretty interesting. So before we get into that, I want to talk about each of these brand new treasure map rare recruit characters. Interestingly enough, this is one of the treasure map rare recruits, and this artwork is like legit, like not even in the anime yet. This is obviously Eustace's kid when he's in prison. He's got the handcuff on, and it's when he's like training or doing the work in the jail on Wano. So pretty interesting that they're choosing some artwork that really isn't like really shown off yet. It's really odd. But anyways, this character is a Dex powerhouse driven. Interesting, he's a powerhouse unit. Boost attack of Dex by 1.5. I really hate this, that the characters have such weak captain abilities, but look, not much else we can really do. But he reduces paralysis by 3 turns, which is okay. And if you're on a treasure map, boost the color affinity of Dex and quick characters depending on your treasure map level for 3 turns. So that's a 3-turn color affinity boost, 2 times color affinity boost. It's pretty nice. So I like the fact that they've said if you're so they boost the color affinity of Dex and quick, because it means that like the 2 new legends that arrived on JP, which was the Luffy Taro and Zorojuro, and also Sober Mask. You've got the Sober Mask who's quick, and then obviously when the Luffy Zoro unit is in the Zoro form, he is a Dex unit. So you can get the color affinity boost there, but because the treasure map Drake is strength, I'm pretty certain that Sober Mask is going to be probably the most ideal captain against him, so it probably would work better if you have Sober Mask as your captain. But either way, an interesting unit. It's just the fact that I would prefer these characters to have more usability outside of a treasure map, because I really don't like spending all these gems to pull for these units and they basically have no use after the treasure map itself. I mean, like, the utility's nice, but I feel like they definitely could have gone a little bit further with this one, but it is what it is. So that's the first rare recruit, which is Kid, and I believe he is the highest point booster on this treasure map. The next character is Trafalgar Law. I actually really dig the Wano outfit for Law. There's actually already a Wano Law character in Treasure Cruise on JP. That is, I think, is a raid boss version, and he comes out around the same time as Legend Kaido. So I assume around our anniversary period we should probably getting him, because Kaido is all but confirmed to be our anniversary legend on Global. So we've got this Wano Law treasure map rare recruit character who is a Dex free spirit slasher. Interesting. 1.5 captain. Man, these captain abilities are really frustrating. At least make them 2.5, or at least 2.5 captains. I feel like that's fair enough. Special ability, 13 turns. Reduces despair and burn duration by 2 turns. Would have been nice if that was 3. And adds 35 times his attack as additional typeless damage for 3 turns. Not too many characters in the game apply 3 turns of tap timing bonus damage. I remember Raid Boss Saba, he's a 2-turn tap timing bonus. I believe Legend Zephyr is also 2 turns of tap timing bonus. I don't even recall any character in the game that is 3-turn tap timing bonus. I'm sure there's maybe 1 or 2 of them. Maybe you guys can let me know, but look, he's, again, it's just okay. I mean, in a treasure map, this is going to be so good, right? Because you got to remember, in a treasure map, the base stats are increased by a pretty big margin. So this actually adds a lot of extra damage to your team. He reduces despair and burn by 2. As I said, would have preferred if that was at least 3 turns, because typically you don't see too many situations where it's 2 turns. But even if he had a limit break with double special activation, that would have been nice. But look, he's okay. He is okay. Nothing to write home about, though. The final character, before we get into Drake, is going to be Treasure Map Rare Recruit Hawkins, who is a quick cerebral slasher. Again, artwork looking pretty nice. Special ability, or captain ability, again, is a 1.5 captain. Not a big fan there. Special ability is 10 turns, which is nice. Reduces attack down and increased damage taken duration by 2 turns. Fair enough. Reduces enemies' threshold damage reduction duration by 2 turns, and changes his own orb, including block, into quick. Okay, in terms of utility, he's definitely the best one, obviously. Attack down and threshold is really nice. Guaranteed matching slot on himself. The increased damage taken debuff, there are literally like hardly any situations where you need to remove it off of your team. Typically, when you're inflicted with that debuff, you can either just break through without having to take any damage, and that's the easiest way around it. If you are in a situation where you have that debuff inflicted and you have to take damage, then you should probably build your team a little bit better, because most of the time you don't really need to bring a character dedicated to get rid of that. That's typically not an issue. So, like, Hawkins, he just seems okay. These treasure map recruits seem a little lackluster, but I do have to say the artwork on these characters does look very, very good. So the final character, of course, is this brand new Treasure Map X Drake, which is the final boss character that you're all going to be farming for in this treasure map. Really interesting thing to note as well is that he does not have an unevolved version. He only comes as a 5-star unit. So I don't know if this is going to be a thing moving forward on treasure maps where they no longer drop an unevolved copy. There are both good and bad sides to that. I mean, obviously you don't really have to waste any evolvers, even though in a treasure map when there is an unevolved copy, after a first, like, what, 50,000, 100,000 points, you, like, get the evolution materials to, like, evolve the character anyway. So, look, I don't know how I feel about it, because I do like having an unevolved copy, just in case if you need it for cost-restrictive ranking missions. But, like, it is what it is. It's fine. It's not really a big deal. There aren't too many situations where you need an unevolved treasure map unit, but just in case, it's always nice to have. So let's go ahead and talk about this character. Now, of course, it's quite a lengthy ability set here. Captain ability, boost the attack of slashes. Well, we should talk about his classes first. So yeah, he's a strength slasher striker. So he's going to boost the attack of slashes by 3.25, reduce damage taken by 10%, and boost the chance of getting strength orbs by a small amount. Not a big fan of this, because if you are running him as a captain, means that you need to make sure you have some sort of character that can make your strength orbs beneficial, or if you have just another really good way to just manipulate your orbs. Because if you're bringing a dex unit as a sub to this could be a problem. Yeah, unless if you have the right sailor ability to get around that. But 3.25 base with 10% damage reduction is really good for a treasure map character, honestly. So his special ability maxes at 13 turns, and this is where things get kind of crazy, right? So he changes badly matching slots into matching. That's a really nice effect. Treasure map Nami has that. The Santa Nami has that exact ability where she changes the negative slots into positive, which is great. Then, depending on the number of strength, dex, and quick orbs that you used before this special was activated, he reduces the barrier of all enemies and does typeless damage to one enemy depending on how many you used. So what it means by how many you used, it means like if you have a strength orb and you attack with that strength orb, that counts as using that orb. I believe if you use a special ability that empties your slots, that won't count as using the orb. I'm pretty sure you have to attack with that orb. I don't think it has to do damage, but as long as you're just using a character to attack with it, and as long as you're emptying it out by attacking, it counts towards it. So if you use 0 to 9 strength, dex, and quick orbs, you minus 1 barrier and do 100,000 damage. Between 10 and 24 of those orbs, you minus 3 barrier and 1.5 million damage. And if you do 25 or more of those orbs, you minus barrier by 5 turns and you deal 2.5 million damage. So before we even like talk about the barrier thing, we have to talk about the damage. The 2.5 million damage that you deal, it is typeless damage, but you gotta remember it is not fixed damage, and it does not go through the barrier. Well, according to this translation, it says reduce the barrier of all enemies and do typeless damage. Typically, the order from top to bottom will actually happen and occur in that order with the special ability. That's happened with a lot of characters in the past, like Rare Recruit Quicksenior Pink, Psy Rare Recruit Bellamy. Those characters will do the damage and then remove the defensive effect, which I think is just an awful idea. We'll have to wait and see how this actually works, but if this does the barrier removal first and then does the damage, this character is really freaking awesome. If it is the other way around, where he attacks with the damage first and then removes the barrier, like, it would suck, but like 5 turns of barrier reduction is pretty huge. and we'll definitely see play. There are some enemies where you just want to remove their barrier and you can do whatever you want after that. The fact that you can remove 5 turns of that, and if you are removing 5 turns of their barrier and like that is going to completely remove it, then you can just deal 2.5 million damage on top of that, which is like really nice. But of course, if the enemy does have a reasonable amount of defense, then this is going to be reduced by a large margin. That's why I kind of like Treasure Map Jack a little better, is because yes, it does rely on there being more enemies on the enemy side of the field, but you are guaranteed to deal that amount of damage to the enemy, and it's so nice to have. But saying that though, like you can run a team with double Drake, and like on other treasure maps where if this guy's boosted, you have a double 3.25 captain, you have the 2 characters with 10% damage reduction, and you could potentially deal like 5 million damage with 2 specials, which is pretty strong, right? You have to hit with 25 strength decks and quick orbs, which I think most of the time you'll probably end up hitting around this, which probably makes a lot more sense. But on more difficult events, or if you're really trying to stall for it, you could easily hit this, but it will take you some time. He's definitely not a character that you're gonna like speed farm with if you need to remove like 5 turns of a barrier. This is not really the most optimal way to do that. But as for his other effects, he does have a sailor ability of giving slasher characters 30 stats, and if this character has a strength orb and you hit it perfect, it gets carried into the next room. His potential ability is 5 turn removal of slot bind, which I think could have been a little better, and critical hit, which is 80% chance for 7% extra damage after hitting it perfect. He does have a support ability to Kaido, Jack, and Hawkins. 7% base stats are added to that character. That's honestly pretty good. And that's it for Treasure Map Drake. There is the Sugo Fest information that we can actually have a look at here. This is one of the things that I mentioned in the Douglas Bullet Sugo Fest that's coming to Global. So you can see second multi, you get Hawkins, which is the lower point booster. And look at this. You have to go to the 13th multi to get either Law or Kid. So I really hope that that structure does not get carried over to global side of things, because the current structure that Douglas Bullet is looking at right now, like yes, it is a Treasure Map Sugo Fest, and yes, the Chopper, the Brook, and also the Robin, they're going to be input into the regular pool of rare recruits. But I just really hope that this structure does not come to global's treasure maps, because like honestly, people are just going to flat out refuse to pull on these Treasure Map Sugo Fest, because if they're not going to be guaranteed on an early step, no one really cares, right? But anyways, that's the full rundown of the Treasure Map units coming out. Pretty exciting character. It is X-Drake, which is awesome. We don't get too many X-Drake characters in One Piece Treasure Cruise, so we'll always take that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.